Well, g'day, folks. How are you? Sorry about last night. Had a few things on. In fact, I spent the whole day dealing with Telstra yesterday, and I'm going to send them a bill for about 7 hours of my day yesterday. If you get screwed around by Telstra or any other business, bill them for it. All right? Your time is worth money. That's my bitch about them for the day. So last night, had a few issues getting connected. Telstra seemed to have maybe got it right today. We'll see how it goes. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on what's going on, where's going on, and how things are happening in my world at the moment. Things are tight, to say the very least. However, lots of great news coming out. And tonight, on tonight's show, we're going to give you some really interesting stuff to sink your teeth into. Now, Catherine Smith from Freedom Financial Services is coming on. We're going to have a chat about gold and silver, obviously. There's been some big news coming out of the Perth Mint in the last 24 hours or so, something about a $9 billion problem that they've got. We will talk about what's going on in the Perth Mint and what the problem is with their Shanghai or Chinese gold sales and what they've been caught doing, and how they've remedied it, I guess. It's important to point out that what the Perth Mint have done is not illegal. They have done nothing illegal. All they've done is mess up a particular set of specs for the gold that the Chinese wanted delivered. And it all comes down to how much silver and copper was in that gold or in those gold bars. So anyway, we're going to talk about that tonight, the implications of that going forward. There is also a very interesting document that's been put out, a report that is now available on Amazon if you want to go and look at it, but we'll go through it a little later on tonight in some great detail. It is a damning report on the jab. There is no other way of describing it, a damning report. And while this report is specifically using American data, you can extrapolate that data to the rest of the world. It is absolutely fearsome. I've also been sent an extremely interesting video this morning, which we haven't discussed much about here on this show, but I have worked on in the background. Now, the video I was sent explains where Australia begins and ends. I know, that sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? It's just weird. Anyway, we'll talk about that a little bit later tonight in the show. It'll kick off at 6:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time and 7:30 Daylight Savings Time, of course. It is mind-blowing, some of the things that have come out in this report, folks, and I will cut it all up this afternoon and try and have it sorted for this evening. It'll also be very interesting for you to learn where the Australian Taxation Office is currently based and what's going on with it at the moment. We'll talk about that with Cass Smith tonight too. So a lot of interesting things coming on. Weather, well, if you're in far north Queensland, Robert Deutsch has put out a very interesting video. He's calling another flood event. He's talking about 3 feet of rain. That's a metre of rain around Mount Isa and inland. He's talking about 2 feet between sort of Cairns and Townsville, 2.5 feet from Townsville further down. That's 2.5 feet of rain. It's nearly a metre of water coming our way. If you are a weather watcher and you know where the HARP installations are, you'll be able to watch them in real time bounce this storm, because that's what they do. They bounce, they heat up, everything rises. It starts rolling. As it cools, it comes down. They heat it up again. It bubbles, gets stronger, more powerful. It expands it. And they essentially bounce it between these installations, and then they will drive it down the coast. So be prepared, North Queensland. Be prepared, Central Queensland. And I think all the way down to the Sunshine Coast, we are likely to get a heap of rain. And I don't mean just a little bit. I mean a heap of it coming our way in the next little while, I did say. I haven't seen, thank you, Sandra. I haven't seen Ricardo's chat with Mr. Jaco, but I will try and have a look at that at some stage today. Hi, Elsa. Yep, some good stuff on tonight's show. Anne, what are you sorry about, Anne? Let me find this. Anne, sorry to have to watch your shows the next day, as for some reason when I watch or listen at night, I just can't sleep. Oh, Anne, I'm very sorry. Well, at least I'm doing one during the day today. Hopefully you won't go to sleep. Isn't that weird? I get a lot of reports of people saying, oh, gee, Carl, I love putting my headphones on and going to sleep with you in my ears. And it's like, I don't know that I'm getting the message across, but hey, if I'm helping you sleep, I'm happy for that. What else is going on? Miss chatting with everyone. Lots of love to everyone. Oh yeah, well, and we're always in here for a chat. So yeah, I guess it's difficult at night if what I say makes it hard for you to sleep. So I'm sorry for that. Tonight, well, I don't know if it's going to make it hard for you to sleep or not. It depends, I guess, on your current understanding of where we are in the jab process, and where we are in the investigation process, and what you want out of the investigation process. Nothing good is going to come out of the investigation process except the exposure of the evil that has been done. And just on the 16 points that I've read this morning, evil has been done on a massive, massive scale. And it has been helped to be done by three-letter agencies all over the world. I mean, it certainly starts in the US with the CDC, but they've been able to expand their influence, obviously, around the world in conjunction with the WHO and associated other evil entities. So tonight's show is going to be, a bit of an eye-opener about the whole jab thing. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not we get kicked off YouTube. So that's what's going to happen tonight. Watch out for the weather. And I don't know that there was anything else I really needed to tell you this early in the day. Just apologise for last night. And once again, if you happen to deal with a agency like Telstra and they screw you around, sit you on hold for hours and hours and hours, work out your hourly rate and bill the bastards. Time is money. God knows those pricks will turn you off if you don't pay them on time. But when they screw you around, oh no, we'll just take our own time. So that's fine. I'm happy for them to take as long as they like. I'm going to charge myself out at a very reasonable rate per hour. Already have. So the invoice is done, and I'm going to send it this morning. The issue with Telstra still isn't fixed, so I'll be sending another one for today's little exercise with them too. It'll be fun. Yeah. The service that they provide, well, it's service spelt a different way. SHIT would be how I would spell their service. And very, very unhappy with them. Sandra, we are meant to be in a heat wave for the moment. Absolutely right. And I think we are going to get a few days of heat because they need that heat to help generate what's coming down. And of course, we're going to get muggy in Queensland. It'll get very humid. So that heat, combined with the water that's coming down, you can imagine that for the next few weeks, we're going to be sweating fairly solidly in Queensland. If you're not used to it, you're not going to like it. Have a look at Charlie's latest video. Okay, I'll see what I can do. Try and squeeze that in at some stage today. I've actually been having a bit of a chat with Jane from QSI this morning as well. There's been some very interesting developments in that world. All good developments, can I just say? Don't get all excited about that. Well, good as far as I understand, but bear in mind my understanding is fairly limited, but I am learning more and more every day. So, we'll have another QSI night on Saturday night, and I think there'll be a few more guests coming in with Jane for that evening. It should be a good thing if you're into learning more about quantum coinage and associated other things, then that's probably the show for you on Saturday night. So I don't think I've got too much else to... Let me just have a bit of a look now. I've bitched at Telstra. I've told you about the weather. Cass is coming on tonight, and I've told you about the jabby thing. So, that's all what's coming on tonight. Once again, apologise for last night's lack of fronting. But tonight's going to make up for it. Trust me. There is a whole heap of info coming your way tonight. And with a little bit of luck, it'll be shareable. You'll be able to help people understand exactly what's going on, particularly when it comes to the paperwork regarding the efficacy of the jabs and the special trials that were put in place. The fact that many trials results were not published because they would have created a vastly different picture. How did they not get published? How were they hidden? Well, that too is another story. Couldn't have happened without government intervention, without some players in the government being able to push things through quietly or loudly, as was the case in, quite a few cases, actually. They put the public health risk above the risk of the cure. That's essentially what's happened. And the indication is, in the documents that I've seen, that Pfizer knew that. So if that's the case, it's going to be very interesting. Of course, they do have blanket immunity at the moment. That can be rescinded at any time, particularly if it was found that it was granted in a way that was lacking detailed information. The decision might have been made without enough information being supplied, and or information being hidden is probably essentially the best way to do it. So yeah, that's what's going to happen. So we'll do all that tonight. I hope you have a bloody great day. Go out. Don't worry about life, the universe, and everything too much. We are pushing along. There is a shitload. I'm starting to sound like Charlie Ward now. There's a lot going on. Look, if your eyes are open, you'll see it. It's that simple. If you have any inkling of what's going on, you'll see it. And if you don't have any inkling of what's going on, then you will probably push back. Of course, there are many that have direct knowledge of exactly what's going on, and they are pushing back. They don't want us to tell you what's going on, and you see evidence of that in our chats every night. Interesting too, those sorts of people are really pushing the boundaries of the law in certain things that they are doing, particularly over last weekend. I would just caution everybody to calm down. Stop thinking all these weird, marvelous, wonderful things. Stop trying to be spies, and certainly be very careful of who you take photos of, where you take photos of them, and who you send those photos to. I'll just leave it at that, shall I? We had a lovely lunch the other day at the Brecky Creek Hotel. Veteran Dan and John Wilson and myself had some wonderful folks come and meet us and join us for a beer, which was tremendous. Had a ball catching up with them. Hello, Tara, and Connie and her family. Great to see so many people popping by and saying hello. I just wish the ones who decided to try and take secret photos and share them with certain people had bothered coming up. You could have got a much nicer photo. I wouldn't have minded if you wanted a photo. You can do what you like with that. Of course, who you send it to and what they do with it creates a bit of an issue for you. But that's another story, and we'll get to that soon. Thank you, Eve. I appreciate that. I'm sorry that I wasn't around last night. So we're getting better as long as Telstra pull their finger out. And you've got no idea. I have 3 different ways of connecting to the internet, and they have made it very difficult on just about all of them. For a variety of reasons. I actually had 400 gigabyte of data sucked out of one of my cards in 2 days. So somebody got on there and was able to extract, and I've got the breakdown this morning from Telstra. One day alone, they were able to pull 70 gig out of it. And it wasn't anything I was doing. So they're trying very hard. They'll use my data up on me. They'll do all sorts of weird things. And because I work on a mobile data system, I don't have a landline to plug into. Then, yeah, it's interesting. They can play with my data all they like, and it seems they are. But Starlink is a different kettle of fish. I do have some issues with Starlink at home. Unfortunately, getting it positioned and cables fed in is a real problem. So we're working on it, but the real only fix is to make it a permanent installation, and I don't want to do that because I want to take it on the road with us. So we're working hard to try and fix that out too. But yeah, Telstra are useless when it comes to service. Useless. 7 hours I spent yesterday trying to get an answer to one simple question. Where did this data go? 7 hours. That was the only question. I didn't doubt it was gone. I just wanted to know where it had gone and on what days. And 7 hours. Unbelievable. I don't know if you're interested in setting up a new telco, maybe with a Q phone or something like that. I don't think Telstra are going to be up for it. You might be able to buy the infrastructure pretty cheaply. I think most of them are going to get cleaned out. God, I hope so. That's an interesting pickup, David. Noticed a lot of new millennial cops and a lot of the older ones have disappeared. That could be working 2 ways. The biggest issue with police at the moment is finding recruits. Doesn't matter what state or territory you are in, they are advertising everywhere. If you ring your local police station, odds are you'll get on hold and you'll hear an ad for recruiting. They can't get people. That's why Queensland are now advertising for 500 overseas officers to come and live, work, and be Queenslanders. Of course, you don't have to be Australian. You don't have to get citizenship. Oh, no. No. And that might also mean that you are covered under the bullshit law that our federal government put in some time ago that says if you do come in and act as a policeman on our land from a different country, you are immune to prosecution for the things that you do. That's the kind of government we have in Queensland and Victoria and Western Australia and New South Wales. All of them are actively seeking overseas recruits for their police force. I think South Australia is probably doing it too, and the Northern Territory are, well, a law unto themselves. So we need, before we can move forward, I think we need to really place pressure on particularly the Queensland state government, and in Queensland's case, but every state government, to employ from within the country, employ Australians. All right? And the only way you're going to get Australians to come and be part of that job is by cleaning out the filth in the top of it. So maybe to the members who are still working and know something's not right, then maybe it's time for you to push back. Maybe it's time for you to unite with us and push back. Maybe it's time for you to point out who in your organisation, in your opinion, are the ones we should be pushing back against. We need to target the leadership. We know it's not just, there are good coppers. There are a lot of good coppers out there. They are being coerced, forced, pushed into all this sort of stuff. And when they don't and they quit, they're being replaced by overseas agents who will do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. And they have carte blanche immunity to do so. This has to stop, folks. This has to stop. Whenever you see that pig of a thing that runs Queensland, you tell her it has to stop. It has to stop. It is indicative of the way that Queensland and other police forces are run that you cannot get new recruits. It is your leadership. It is your governmental oversight. It is your government masters that make it impossible for good people to join a police force and act in harmony with the community. Because the bosses won't let that happen, the filthy Masonic fucks. We're coming for you, folks. We're coming. The day will come. We will be asking you the questions, and we are looking forward to your answers. I'm sure they will not be good. And the results, well, could well be terminal. Just having a bit of a look again through what people are saying. Yeah, Dan, what about the military training here? And the WHO's treaty on the table most to be signed. Yeah. So, look, we've heard about the PPC training going on with 3RA in Townsville. Look, what can you say? I'm praying that training that you're seeing is actually to protect us, to protect us, the good people. It is called people protection. It is not called, something else the military would call it if it was going to be a riot control kind of thing. The military would have a different name for that sort of training. I am not 100% convinced that the training that we see from 3RA is going to be used against we the people. It might be used to protect we the people against other elements. Now, some of those elements might be people, normal people, civilians who are very motivated to keep the status quo. It might be the deep state police forces that they're protecting us from. It might be a whole heap of things. It might be exactly the opposite. We don't know. We don't know. And I don't think we will know until the appropriate time. But we have been told to expect a military lockdown, a military style lockdown. That will mean that they will need to keep people off the streets, and there will be some idiots who want to get out on the streets when the military close them down. I personally think that training we saw could be used to try and push those people back rather than shooting them on sight. You might be rounded up and then put in somewhere and held until what's finished is finished. But I don't believe that they will open fire on you. Not in the first days anyway. After that, I think it will be very serious. If you are on the streets and you have been told not to be on the streets and they find you on there, I don't think they'll stop and ask you questions. I think it'll get very serious very quickly, and you could find yourself with a new hole in you somewhere. I wouldn't do that. Dan, yeah. Treaty, yeah, the treaty is an issue. I don't know enough about it. I haven't seen the treaty document. There is a lot of people rebelling against the treaty, unless we're talking about different treaties. And I'm not sure. I'm not in that space. So I really hesitate to comment on it. But yes, I do take the second part of what you said, that if the treaty is working and it can be used in the way that it's intended, then yes, it will wake up more people to stand with us. I agree. Yeah, I don't care what people say about me. I'm not pushing crypto wallets. I don't know anything about crypto. Okay, what I'm trying to do is learn about crypto. So I know nothing about it, and therefore there might be good, there might be bad. How do I find out about it? How do I help you find out about it if I don't see both sides of the coin, so to speak? It's just that simple. I'm not in crypto. I have no crypto, not one coin, not one anything. All right. I don't understand it. That's why I'm not in it. That's why I don't play poker machines. That's why I don't gamble. I don't really understand how I can win. So I don't play. I just think that there is more to it, and we need to learn as much about it as we can, because like it or not, there is going to be a change in our financial system. There is no point saying, oh, I don't want it to change. It's going to change. It's going to change. What's it going to change to? No idea. I have no idea, except what they're telling us it's going to change to. And I quite simply don't understand it. So me and QSI, well, they were the first lot who came along and said, well, we're happy to try and tell you about it. I'm happy to be taught until somebody comes along and can prove to me that they're teaching something that is heinous. And believe me, I have people watching what we do, people who are much better at me, much, much, much more into crypto than me, who watch this and who educate me behind the scenes. All right, so that I know what questions to ask, or try and ask reasonable questions. It's difficult when you don't understand even the basics of a topic, and I didn't, when we started this, understand even the basics of crypto. Okay, so you've got to try and get a baseline, and you can only get one baseline at a time. Okay, so I've been getting my QSI baseline online with you, but I've been getting my Bitcoin baseline offline with others. So I understand both sides of the coin, so to speak. Or I'm trying to. Can't say I've grasped it fully, or even half at this stage, but I'm getting better at it. Nobody here at Voice of Freedom is telling you to get into crypto. All right? This is a decision for you based on your understanding of what is being said. If you understand it better than me and you can jump into it and say, great, this is wonderful, Carl, and look how great this is going, or I'm all for it, go for it. If you're dead set against it, then go for it. I'm all for that. If you're dead set against it and you do not want to be involved in crypto, then don't watch the QSI show on Saturday night. Okay? I'm not encouraging anybody to buy anything. I'm not encouraging anybody to be involved in anything. All I'm trying to do is, for my own self, get an understanding of where this is going, because it is going there. Nothing we can do is going to stop it. All we can do is learn about things like centralized bank digital coins. What is the difference between a centralized and a decentralized coin? Why is being decentralized so important? And what are the pitfalls of centralized or banking coins? Now, we all know the banks are evil. So I'm fully with you when you have doubts about anything to do with a banker's coin, like XRP. But XRP, and I've had people who are dead set against this whole quantum QSI thing go and dig. All right. I've had people who are looking to try and put QSI down go and dig on all of this. And you've only seen part of that with Vince. But there are a lot more people who are working behind the scenes to really understand what QSI is about. And so far, not one of them, these people who are extremely, extremely well-versed in crypto, none of them have come back and said, oh, no, look, you can do this. They've got problems with certain wallets and that sort of thing. Well, I don't understand wallets, and to say I'm pushing crypto wallets is absolute fucking lies. All right. I couldn't tell you the difference between a crypto wallet and my wallet. All right. Couldn't tell you. Where is my wallet? There's nothing in it. I can show it to you. Haven't got it here. So I couldn't tell you the difference, but I'm trying to learn. And it's a trial by fire, I guess, in certain parts, because it's a lot of information, particularly to do with numbers and shit. No, I'm just not good with numbers, right? It's like I'm dyslexic with numbers. My eyes roll around like poker machines when you show me a spreadsheet. So I struggle with it. Others don't. I've made no investment in it, but that's probably more because at the moment I've got rent to pay and other things to do. And it's more important that I get that done than try and, put something in one of these wallets. So I'm focused on the here and now rather than the future. They are focused on the future. I wish I could get more focused on the future, but at the moment I am dead set focused on how I pay the rent this week. So that is the biggest issue that I have in my day. And I'm not going to go and, put my head in the sand over QSI because somebody thinks Charlie Ward is, a deep stater. I don't know. Charlie Ward has been playing this game for a lot longer than me. He's been very, very successful with it. He's got a great team behind him. Is that nefarious? I don't know. I've never dug deep into Charlie Ward. I know his past. I know what he's admitted to in the past. And I know his, the business dealings, some of them at least, that he's had in the past. But I've not found anything nefarious about him. I mean, he knows where to find the darker things in life. That's because at some point he was running around with them. But that has changed quite clearly. You don't you don't hear the man talking the way he does about God. And from what I hear, the way he acts and his whole demeanor is one of walking with God, then I don't know. He's in for a very bad time if he's playing that card because he's going to be made to front up to that. Yeah, look, Charlie might be CIA. I don't know. I don't put much faith in it. I haven't watched many of his shows in the last 6 months or more. I do watch a couple occasionally when somebody points one out and says, there's some interesting intel or there's something else in there. I might have a look at it. But like you, I would hope, I go and do my own research. Okay? He might open a door to a rabbit hole and he might say, this is what the rabbit hole does. You don't have to believe that. I don't. I go and look if it's a topic I'm interested in looking in. I'll go and try and find further information about it. Never believe the one person, particularly if you happen to see them sitting on a screen and you don't know them from Adam. Do your own research. This is what awakening is about. Okay? It's as much about knowing about the deep state as it is about knowing how to research, knowing how to find your own answers, knowing how to disprove or prove truths. That's what our awakening is. And the more of us that do our own research, the better. And that's all I do with QSI. It's called research. Right? You see the public side of it on a Saturday night. You don't see the private side of it because I'm talking with Bitcoin gods on the other end of it. And I mean whales, guys who really know Bitcoin. So I'm getting very good advice from both sides of the coin, so to speak. You will find now that Bitcoin is ISO 20022 compliant. Now, what that means going forward, I have no idea. Other than if it's got that ISO compliancy, it can be traded inside the QFS. And it's decentralized. So all the people's worries about being tracked won't happen through that, nor will it happen through a variety of other coins that are going to be available or are currently available. If you own XRP, you won't be keeping XRP. I am led to believe that XRP will be bought back. All XRP will be bought back because XRP will be what eventually becomes, I think, the international monetary transfer system. So everything will convert from an Australian dollar, if you like. If you want to spend money in America, it'll be converted in the ether to that currency and then deposited in the bank account of the person you're buying it from, whatever the product or service is. All peer-to-peer, all untracked. So, yes, CBDCs are not the kind of thing we want in our lives. 100% agree, 100% agree. What you need to do your research on is what a CBDC might be in the future, okay? While it's known now as the banker's coin, the banks are going to be radically changed and they won't be banks anymore. There is still going to be a need for an international monetary transfer system that is not cash, because that's how the deep state have been able to funnel the cash away from all of us. We need to have electronic transfer of some shape, form, or kind, and we need to have realized value on whatever is being traded. And that means it has to be backed by something: gold, silver, copper. There are coins for wheat, barley, all sorts of staples in the world that we need. And if you are growing your own crops, apparently, through a non-fungible token, an NFT, that's about as much as I know about NFTs, is how to say them. You can, in fact, sell your crop direct to someone else. Now, that might be real useful for My Place. Do you think, going forward? Darren Bergworth and My Place Australia are expanding at a phenomenal rate. Now, what happens if farmers who grow beef, lamb, chicken, eggs, fruit, veg, wheat, barley, anything? What if My Place Australia went to those farmers and said, we're going to buy your crop off you. We're going to give you the market rate, probably better than you'll get from the wheat board or anybody else. And we'll do a deal with the millers, and we'll get a mill going. We'll refine our own flour and whatever else we can get out of it. That's what's going to happen. And the funding to pay for that will happen through the chain. So that takes the middlemen right out. That means that instead of having to go and pay a corporate giant all your cash every week, you will be able to go and buy fresh, untainted produce, unvaxxed produce from your local My Place. Direct from the paddock to plate, paid for direct in this manner through a non-fungible token. It's possible. I don't know how. I'm not the person to put that together. I'm just told it can happen. You imagine how much easier that would be. I mean, My Place in Melbourne has already walked in and bought an entire orchard of apples. An entire orchard. Thank you, Coles. You won't be getting those this year or next year or the year after. The farmer's overjoyed because he's getting a higher price than what the supermarkets would pay him for his product. And My Place is overjoyed because they're getting great product at a great price, which they can transport around the country and still sell for less than Coles and Woolworths do. It's possible. And it's happening through My Place. Darren will be on again, I hope sometime this week. We'll talk more about it. There is a great deal of things being set up in the background of My Place around Australia at the moment. If you have a property and it can grow stuff and you just don't have the people, or maybe you're of an age where you don't want to work the land anymore, but you don't want to get off it, then get in touch, because we have people who will come and plant the land, who will come and work the land, who will give you a share of the profits from everything that comes out of the land and keep you fed. We have people willing to come and do this now all over the country. All we need is the land and the people who own it to be part of my place. And then we will have a distribution challenge. But that distribution challenge can be worked out. Lots of farmers have trucks. Lots of farmers have the ability to, drive 100, 150, 250, 350 Ks up the road, swap the load, come home again, let somebody else take it the next 300 or 400 Ks. We can make this happen. We can get our own distribution network happening. Food security, folks, that's what we are planning with my place, food security, amongst a whole heap of other things. So, yeah, please be part of that. If you've got farmers or people in your family who have properties, may have old equipment still lying around on there that's still serviceable or could be made serviceable. We've got a lot of very adept mechanical types in our organisations, so it wouldn't be too hard to get things back up and working again. We want to be able to do it cheaply. We want to be able to do it properly, and we want to be able to do it to the benefit of all people. So my place is the way to go, folks. And it doesn't matter about areas, Adash. People need to be fed all over the country. So at the moment, my place is obviously focusing pretty steeply on Victoria and South Australia and probably Western New South Wales along the border areas. But it is expanding rapidly. There are groups in New South Wales. I think there is a group, certainly I know of a beef and lamb producer in the southeast corner who's very interested in being involved in this too. I'm particularly keen on finding out beef growers in the Maranoa. We're very keen to see particularly beef growers come on board with my place because there is a big market, obviously, for meat. Everybody is very concerned about cattle going through sale yards, and if they have been through a sale yard from about now onwards, every beast is going to be vaccinated with an mRNA vaccine. That will either create all sorts of hell in our food chain or it's going to kill a lot of cows. It remains to be seen which way that's going to work out. But regardless, we want cows that have not passed through a sale yard once the mandatory vaccine came in. We also know that there are plenty of farmers, particularly sheep and beef farmers, who are hiding herds, who are taking herds out and making them very difficult to find. That's so that when government agencies turn up with a spear in hand to try and vaccinate the herd, they're not going to get it all. There is going to be clean breeding stock available. That is one of the big missions that we're putting together behind the scenes, that there is always going to be clean meat available, unvaxxed meat. But we need you to be involved. And if there are farmers who are interested, growers of beef, meat, lamb, pork, whatever, involved, then get a hold of me. Get a hold of My Place Australia. We are very interested in talking to you because there is a big future in that. And a lot of us are, well, very keen to make sure that our food source stays untainted. That's probably the best way. Rumble, what do you got here? You've got old equipment, which is making my lunch right now. You're going to get shot. And you may not get lunch. At least Sandra got the gag too. I think that's great. Well done. What's this one? Pamela, hi all. There are farm groups in New South Wales and Southern Queensland through the group Parents with Questions. Thank you very much, Pamela. That's a great pickup. So if you're interested, folks, search out Parents with Questions. You might be able to gain a few answers there. Who is the major backer of My Place? The major backer of My Place is Darren Bergwerf and the Voice of Freedom. That's it. No sponsorship, no money going into it outside of what Darren Bergwerf puts into it or is raised through the communities. Nobody is a backer. The people are the backers of My Place. We, the people. It's that simple. And that's the way it has to be, because then you're not going to have influence. And Darren Bergwerf is not the man to try and force influence on. If you've ever met the man, you'd know that. So, yeah. Sister knows a farmer. Beautiful. Well, Melissa, let her know. We're very keen. to make friends with people like that, and we will help in every way we can. Every way we can. So, yeah, let them know. Get in touch. We'll hook everybody up together. And yes, we need to get a paddock to plate system going in every state in Australia. I know there are plenty of paddock to plate operations happening now, but are they on our side of the fence? Are they just going to open up their gates and let their herd be jabbed? Well, if that's the case, then they're not going to be helping us. Yeah, okay. Stephen, BioNTech is the name of the company. But, yeah, certainly they are part of it. What else have I missed here? I don't want to hold you up. Wow, Dan. Oh, Dom, you're going to have to go, mate. Visit my, yeah, you're going to have to go. It's right in the heart of Frankston, in the CBD, very easy to find. And I think it's 457 Nepean Highway, but you go in the back to the alley behind the Nepean Highway on the left there, and that's where you'll find the entrance. Well worthwhile popping in. There's a big car park there. You can just park and jump the fence, and you're basically in my place. But get along, Dom. It's a fabulous thing. And Friday nights is a great social night to be a part of it down there. Darren and his crew put on an awesome night. And of course, the markets are another big one. To be able to go to the markets and be part of well, buying local, buying really good produce, like buying really nice food, and it's growing all the time. The Yarra Valley, my place, my God, it's going ahead in leaps and bounds. So yeah, lots of really cool things coming up in the future with my place, and food security is going to be one of the major things in the world. All right, I think I'm just about done for... Yes, is there a My Place website? Yes, there is. You can go to myplaceaustralia.org, or if you're on Facebook, you can go to My Place Frankston and say hello. If you are in a town and you want to start a My Place, the first step is to set up a Facebook page, My Place, whatever town you're in, and then start promoting that to the locals. Get them to join. That's the easiest way to find how many people in your area are thinking the same way you are. And once you've got a group of them together, you can be like Vince in Mannum. They haven't got a venue yet. And let's be honest, venues are the hardest thing to come by. But initially, all you need is somewhere you can sit down and have a couple of meetings. So any pub, club, hall, anything like that you can get for no cost, no cost. Go to the pub and, take over the lounge one night and have a meeting. It's pretty easy to do. You'll form committees. You'll get things underway. Talk with Darren Bergworth. They have a plan. There is a great plan for you to follow to establish your My Place. And it's easy. It's easy. And I've got to tell you, the My Places, and I haven't been to all of them, but the ones that I have been to, my God, the feeling in there is like nothing you've ever felt before. The love, the respect, the camaraderie, the understanding. It's beyond anything you've felt anywhere else. My Place is the future, folks. Get behind it. Thank you, Paul. Black Sheep is all over it. My Place is the answer to a whole lot of issues. I really think that too. Yeah, it's going to be a very, very big movement. I don't know, Adash, what are you talking about here? Thousands of dollars for your compliance. Who's going to charge us thousands of dollars, and what are we complying to? I don't understand that. We are creating something ourselves. Compliance. Well, that sounds like somebody who wants to be controlled to me. You will comply. Okay, going to have just a last scan. Let's see if there's any questions. And I don't know what channel you are watching on. So depending on what which YouTube channel you are watching will depend on what you're seeing in the chat. I get a combined chat from all the channels. You might be on Voice of Freedom or Voice of Freedom, not Nun2K. If you're on the YouTube channel Nun2K, N-U-N-N-2K, you will always get into the screen chat that I'm seeing here and be in with everybody else. But if you are in one of the other chats that may not only have two people in it, then all of them are basically gathered over on the Nun2K site. That's the easiest way to explain it. I think there's an algorithm that does this, but I don't understand it. Nurembergers, you are informed. You don't listen to these dictators. Yeah, very true, Stephen. Although Stephen, the Nuremberg trial is a very real thing, and the Nuremberg codes are a very real thing. And as you will find out in tonight's program, a lot of what is going on in the background with Pfizer has been done in a ad hoc way to try and look like they're complying with the Nuremberg codes, but they are not in any way at all. Now there is a bloody good thing. Well done, David. About to upskill at Green M's Meatworks to add to your list of ag and trade skills. Yeah. Somebody said to me, "Oh, won't it be great, Carl? You'll be able to have your own meat and beef, and you'll be able to kill it, clean it, do the whole thing yourself." I wouldn't know how to do that. Yeah, I wouldn't know how to butcher anything. So no, we're going to require people with those skills. And David, well done. Doesn't hurt to go and get skilled up. I don't know that anybody's got a dead cow they'd let me practice on. I think it's something you'd probably want to get good at before you were allowed to really do it, I would have thought. But anyway, that's something going forward we'll have to look into. Okay. Oh, yes. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Stephen. Yep. Okay. I beg your pardon. Yeah, anybody who wants to get their animals jabbed, seriously, well, you've probably got your children jabbed, so there's no hope for you left or right. If you haven't figured it out yet, we're going to see. In fact, let's make this, today's little call out. If you're a farmer and you've had your herd jabbed, I'm very keen to learn about deaths in your herd. Very keen to learn of you turning up in the paddock one morning and finding 1, 2, 10 cows down. Very keen, very keen. I'm also keen to learn if the milk is changing colour. One of the points raised in this report that we will discuss further tonight is the colour of the breast milk in vaccinated women that are breastfeeding. That colour of that milk was blue-green. Breast milk. Blue-green breast milk. That was a symptom of fully jabbed mothers while they were breastfeeding. Of course, there were implications for the baby drinking that blue-green milk. A number of them died. A great number of them died. Many more of them suffered debilitating injury. Quite a lot of the mothers eventually died. But we'll go through all that tonight. And hopefully that'll wake a few more of you up. But if they're going to put an mRNA vaccine into our cattle, into our sheep, into our pigs, into our food chain, and they're already putting it in so many other parts of our food chain, don't forget nano-encapsulation technology. It's in your water. It's in your tank water. It's in your town water. It's in your filtered water. Doesn't matter how good the filter is you have on your town water tap. Doesn't matter. Unless it's a reverse osmosis system or something that will split the water molecule, like electrifying the water, then you're getting this shit inside you. And it's horrible. This is it. Can you see it there? That's out of one 320 millimeter glass of water, filtered tap water. All right. So that sort of shit, and it's all magnetic, is in your water. All right. All in your water. If I can't see me magnet close, I don't know where my magnet's gone. But if I drop a magnet into that jar, try and get it so you can see it. There. If I drop a magnet into that jar, all that black shit that you're seeing there, all of that will be lifted up by the magnet. Every bit of it. So it's a bit weird. Don't know where my magnet's gone. It's hiding. All right. Maybe I'll figure that out for you tonight. Have I had it tested yet, Carl? No, I haven't. What I do have is a whole range. I've got a whole range of samples of what came out of the water. I also have some of the water with the shit still in it, not dried, so to speak. I was going to be going up to Nambour last week to put these under a microscope that we could take pictures with, but unfortunately I never got there due to some other issues, and I think that would prove very interesting. I'm very keen to get particularly the stuff that's still in water under a microscope, because it will show you exactly how small these nanos are. Nanoparticles, far too small for the eye to see. The only reason we can see it here, put it in front of my face there. The only reason we can see it here is because it's clumped. Okay, it comes to get when you get it out of its shell and you dry it all out, you shake it together, it comes together and it sticks together. And even the smallest bits that you can spread out on a piece of white paper, if you can still see it, it's probably still a couple of 100 million of these individual nanos just clumped together. And I mean a couple of 100 million of them. Might be the size of a speck of dirt on your page, but there could be 100 million nanos in that speck of dirt. Nanos are much smaller than we can see, and they are being encapsulated using this technology in our water. And it has to be added into our water somewhere. It has to be added into our reservoirs somewhere. That's going to be an interesting day when we find out who's adding that shit into our water. But anyway, I am working on trying to get it analysed. The analysis costs about $2,500, and I don't have $2,500. I would love to get the analysis done, but unfortunately, paying my rent is probably more important at the moment, at least for me, to keep a roof over my daughter's head and my head at the moment, than being able to find $2,500 to get that analysed. But oh God, I want to. Oh God, I want to. Look, Nuremberger 2.0, you're a dickwad, and goodbye. If the fool knew anything at all about my place, well, it's just easy to see who the insurgent people are, and that dickwad's one of them. So anyway, no more from Nuremberger. He'll come back under another name, or she. I've decided to not bother with trolls anymore. If you make a comment, I'm going to block you. I don't care anymore. I used to think, you having a bit of a say was worthwhile, but unfortunately, you have nothing worthwhile to say. You have no argument to bring. You simply offer division and very poor argument. You are numpties of the highest order, and I will not be bothered with you. In future, I will just acknowledge you by saying, piss off, dickhead, and you'll be blocked. Because I'm not going to deal with you. You offer nothing to the conversation. You bring nothing to the conversation. You've got not half a brain between you, and your eyes are so wired shut that we couldn't get them open with a set of wire cutters. So go and live your life. Go and be happy. Don't feel the urge to denigrate others who want to go and live their life and be happy. You're just such a fucking sad sack mob of dickheads. And you feel so empowered by criticizing people who don't believe the same thing you do. I mean, I have never met more stupid people in my fucking life. You are idiots of the highest order. If you could bring one argument that wasn't an insult, that wasn't some backhanded slap, if you could bring one iota of proof rather than just your opinion, then I'd have some time for you. But you are brain-dead morons or controlled opposition. And we all know that there's, a bit of ASIO involvement in all of our chats. So lovely to have you all with us. But unless you can bring something, I don't give a shit what you think, you troll. Couldn't care less. And I don't care to give you a platform to say it. If you want to say something that brings something to the argument, by all means, I'll have you on every day of the week. But you better have an argument, not an opinion. You better have facts, not an opinion. Sick and tired of your opinions. Like arseholes. Everyone has one, and unfortunately, you seem to be wearing your arsehole on your head. So I've had enough of it. Trolls are trolls. You want to go and play the game, you want to come and take pictures of me in public, and then you want to go and start sending them around the country to others, who then send them back to me. We'll play that game real well. Just so folks know, the other day, we had somebody surreptitiously come and take our photo at the Breakfast Creek Hotel. What that stupid person didn't realize is that we're not quite stupid. We don't really announce where we're going to be unless we want it for a reason. And we've got your photo. In fact, we got a photo of everybody who was anywhere near us that day. You didn't happen to notice the two guys taking photos for us. We will play the game with you. And we'll play it just as hard. But be very careful what you do with your photos, folks. Be very careful. If you're going to come and take quiet photos of us, that's okay. You're allowed to come and take a photo of me and John and anywhere else, particularly if we say, oh, we're going to be in a public place, come and say hi. But be very careful what you do with that after you've taken the photo. As I think Cooker is finding out. Anyway, let's leave it for the time being. I've got a lot more coming your way, and somebody obviously wants to talk to me. So have yourself a great day, folks, and I'll talk to you soon.